Hey YouTube, it's me, Hyper Viper, again. Talk to you about punk vinyl came out in the 2000s that you may have missed. Specifically for vinyl collectors out there, this is a genre that people talk about, but I know the albums are worth some money because I'm still collecting them and they're spendy. So some of them, a lot of them, they're real easy to find, so whatever. So, one band I wanted to talk about in particular, I mentioned it in my longer video, which I'm going to delete once I get all these done, the numbered ones done, is the Marked Men from Denton, Texas. Very influential, I think, of sort of mixing garage, power pop, punk, a souped up garage, harmonized dual vocals, sort of power pop, not as like, soft and more, just more raging. This is rock. They're rock, punk, but this is their first album. This is on Ripoff Records. It's from 2003. Second album, Dirt Nap Records. 2004. Great band. You guys, if you haven't heard these guys, you should check them out. I'm going to mention this is their third album, Swami Records, 2006. And then there was a kind of a break. They did other projects, which there's almost too many to mention, but not really. But then this came out in between they're working on some of their other projects in 2008. And this one is got some slower stuff, still some of the raging, rockin' stuff, but this is where I was like, this is only okay. But the three of the four members of the Marked Men came before that were this band, the Reds, from Denton, Texas. This is on Ripoff Records. The bass player moved and they got a new bass player, started the Marked Men. This is more garage rock, Ripoff Records style, if you're familiar with that label. It's a lot of from the 90s, kind of a garage. They still put some stuff out, I believe. I'm not 100% on that, but more of a garage rock, rock and roll punk label. So, there's that. And that was on 2000, Ripoff. This is their 2001 second album. There they are. And, yeah, so then after the Marked Men, three of those members had with the singer of the Riverboat Gamblers, which I'll mention next, started this, the High Tension Wires. I'll mention this band of their bands because I think they sound the most similar to the Marked Men, and so a lot of the bands actually they're in sound similar to the Marked Men, but I definitely recommend these albums. They're all on Dirt Nap. The High Tension Wires, 2004, 2007, and this one, 2011. And I mentioned before, remember, the singer of that band is also the singer of this band, the Riverboat Gamblers from, I believe, Denton, Texas also. This is a great album. Their early albums are just great, pure rock and roll, make you want to get up out of your seat, go see them live. I'm sure they still put on a great show. The guy gets up on top of the amps or the PA and was putting his legs up like he's riding a bicycle and jumping off and going crazy, just like so much energy, and you'd sing shout along choruses where everybody, you're just like, yeah, rock and roll. That's what, So then I actually heard of them from this album, which is a great album too. This one's actually better, maybe. But just pure rock and roll. I saw them on this tour and was like blown away how great they were. Just a band to like, wow. And people noticed because they got signed. This is also in conjunction with Volcom Records. They got signed to them, and their album after that one not as good, a little more slick. They slicked their sound out when And actually a member of the Markmen joined them, at least for touring and, whatever. But they slicked out their sound, and they have their moments. I think they kind of came back and got a little more to their original sound. But yeah, they have other records too. I just ordered one. It was one of my COVID Discogs purchases. Then there's this band, also from that area, I believe, Denton, Texas. This is a guy, his like kind of solo project, I think, and this album is really sick. I got fingerprints all over it from touching it. You can see the camera in the background there. This is along the same lines, Markmen style, I would say. And here's their second album, and this is also great. This isn't actually any members of the Markmen, so I just could included it because it kind of sounds like them. They're from the same area of Texas, so it's very influenced by them. And I'll mention some of the other bands that they're in. The Vomit Punks, the members of the actual Markmen, not Occult Detective Club, which I just showed. And those two, 2009 on Red Lounge, and 2011, this one, Alive Records, not It's Alive. Alive. See? There you go. I got that on CD first, and I saw it in vinyl. I was like, "Whoa, I like that album." So, anyway, these are the bands that the members of the Markmen have been in, or whatever, according to Wikipedia. The Vomit Punks, the Role Models, E-Class, the Reds, of course, the Chopsockies, the Potential Johns, the High Tension Wires, the Mind Spiders, the Novice, Low Culture, Radioactivity, Grave City, Draculas, Riverboat Gamblers. And I guess that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to conclude this episode of this because, like I said, I think they're a pretty influential band. The Markmen, rock and roll harmonies. Just if you haven't heard them, check them out. I would play it, but I don't know if I get in trouble or not. So for now, number 3, Hyperviper. Check out my other videos. Look up Vinyl Punk 2000'z and numbers. This is going to be the 3rd. So, yeah. And check Razor Cake Magazine for those bands. And, hi out there in vinyl community. I'm very inspired by your videos. So this is my response to like, hey, do you guys like this stuff too? So, bye-bye.